Hanging Out with Clement
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
And on our Hanging Out feature this morning, we've got award-winning actor Hlomla Dandala in studio with us. Someone that you may have seen. I mean, what has he not done? Hlomla has been on Isidingo, and for some reason, all the characters he takes up somehow become so popular. And maybe that just speaks to his craft and his talent. He's in studio with us. We're going to get to know him better between now and 11 o'clock. How are you doing?
I am well, thank you.
Welcome back to 702.
Well, yeah.
Because this used to be your home at some point.
Yes, this was my home for a little bit.
Yeah.
This was my home back in the days of John Robbie.
Yeah, but you've got the voice for radio. And you've got a brain for radio as well.
Yes, but I'm a problematic radio host. I was a problematic radio.
Those are the good ones. The problematic ones are always the
I was
good
a
ones.
problematic host.
Yeah. How are you? How are you doing?
Good, man. Good. An interesting time learning to pivot. But it's the required thing of the end. I'm at that stage in my career now.
Yeah.
Just in my life, in my career, where I have to start planning for the downhill.
Mm-hmm. What does the downhill look like for you?
Very fast moving towards retirement. My kids are leaving the house.
That trauma of, oh my God, are they all gone?
No, they must go.
Really?
No, they must go.
You know what? I would want to hear your thoughts once they're gone.
Then I'll be a weeping mess.
You are going to be a mess.
I'll be a weeping mess.
Yeah, that's so fascinating. So I was thinking this morning, when we were talking with the producers just about what you've done. I mean, I've seen you on so many roles, whether it's Isidingo or The River or Scandal, Jacob's Cross, Rockville, you name it. Okay. And of course, All You Need Is Love. Do people still recognize you from
All You Need Is Love?
All You Need Is Love.
In fact, I saw a thing on the socials, so I'm not on Twitter.
Yeah, you left Twitter. Why have you left us there?
I had to leave.
You were controversial there.
I was very controversial. and time has bore me out. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Yes, time has bore me out. When I think about the things that I used to say on Twitter, a lot of them were actually correct. They were just not.
We're just not ready for that.
People were just not ready for it, and
I call it group thought. I think.
Yeah.
There's a book I read recently about. It's titled "The Anatomy of the Spirit," and it talks about group thought. Is that the minute you start stepping out of the group thought, you are a problem, you are declared controversial because you hold a view that is different to the majority.
Now me, I have a tent. I have a whole mansion outside group thought. I have a house. I can show you the gardens outside group thought.
Yeah.
And so I stay permanently, problematic.
So what's this clip you saw?
Oh, no, the kids would, I don't know who, someone in the house was on Twitter, and I peeked, and they were laughing at me going, oh yeah, now when you set up when you set up two people for a relationship, so now Hlomla Dandala.
Yes.
And they were going, what's that about? I'm like, for your time, don't worry about it.
Yeah, but what a show, man. What a show. Yeah. Have you always wanted to be an actor?
No, I wanted to tell stories. There's a slight difference. I can't remember not wanting to tell stories, whether in front or behind. So most people think that I have a nice, healthy acting CV. I have a fairly healthy directing one too. But I direct under a pseudonym because in South Africa, once we see then we have to pull you down a notch. Oh, yeah. It's a thing. Yeah. No, it's a proper thing. It's a proper thing. And so the bulk of my career, I directed under a pseudonym.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is the difference for you when you are behind the camera directing and when you are on camera? What's the distinction for you?
It's just a different perspective.
Yeah.
It's a different perspective. If I'm acting, I'm focusing on this one character and really getting all the nuances, and he walks this way, whatever, Whereas if you're producing or writing or anything else. You're just standing on a different rock. We're all telling the same story. Your responsibilities are slightly different. They require the same amount of commitment and passion but you're just, you have a different perspective because you are standing somewhere else.
Yeah.
So if I'm directing, the language of whatever I'm directing is important. Where I put the camera is important. Lighting, wardrobe, sound, and that's important. If I'm producing, putting the team together is important. And all of these things require an equal amount of passion.
What do you enjoy the most between acting and directing? Or do you think, because you've done acting all your life, do you get to a point where you feel like I've overacted, quote unquote, and now it's time really to direct?
Yeah. No, I get tired. I just get tired. Acting is exceptionally physical. Acting is very, very difficult, just physically. You are out there. So if the scene is a guy is running barefoot, gets thrown in the dust, a gun gets pointed at him, he begs, right? We're going to shoot that in at least 20 times from different angles. That means I'm going to run barefoot in the veld at least 20 times.
Yeah.
We're not counting the times where, oh no, there was an aeroplane in the back. Oh no, you didn't get your line right. No, the other guy didn't get the line right. Your wardrobe is sitting funny. Yeah. So it's just physically taxing.
So I'm actually, I can relate to that because I actually saw you on set on the river.
Okay.
When I came the last time, I played a small little role there. And then...
Was I rude to you?
No, you were not.
Really?
No, we didn't
pity.
even talk because I'm a very shy person. So
Okay.
when I walk into spaces, I hide. I don't want to be seen by anybody. Like I will wear it, So I came in and I was just hiding. I didn't want anybody to see me.
Yeah.
But I remember that when we were doing our scene, we repeated it so many times.
Yeah. And the river
And if someone
shot
drops
fast.
a pen,
Yeah. No.
we have to
again.
start.
Yeah. Start
If there's
again.
an aeroplane, we have
again.
to start.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. And I thought, how do these people make television where there's a soapy or a telenovela that plays every day?
It is a lot of work. You are in front of that camera easily 10, 11 hours a day. Every day. And you're running, you're shouting. It's just physically taxing.
Yeah.
So eventually, when crews get really, really tired, they start taking turns sleeping.
Yeah.
Where it's like, for about half an hour, I'll carry your load, and that's when you know you've got a really strong team together.
Sure. That is so hectic. That is so hectic.
No, it's fun, man.
Okay. I want to play, because we have to play also some of your favorite songs here.
Oh gosh.
I was so excited to see that you also like Zoe Modiga. I'm obsessed
She
with
doesn't
Zoe.
know it yet, but she's the soundtrack to my next two projects.
Oh, really?
Genuinely. I'm writing around her
It's
music.
amazing. I was telling a friend the other day that I would love to watch a movie or see a project that's got her music.
You're gonna like this.
I cannot wait for that.
You're gonna like this.
So, tell me about the song we're about to play. What's your favorite song of Zoe?
Yo,
I'm sure you've got a lot.
A lot. I like. Like I say, I'm listening to her a lot. I play Gwasugela, and I play those before I sit down at my desk. Every time, it transports me to a time. It feels for me very, very geospecific, time specific, and it happens to be the time and place that I'm writing about, and so that's just my conduit in. Yeah.
Okay, here's Zoe Modiga. Yeah, that's Zoe Modiga. Amazing. One of the best artists this country has ever produced.
Yes,
What else do you listen to? Like, your dad is a preacher.
Yes.
Did you grow up listening to a lot of gospel music?
I grew up. They didn't listen to a lot of gospel music. They sang a lot.
Yeah.
So I was in the choir. I
church,
was
yeah.
Amadodana.
You were a typical pastor's kid.
I was no, I didn't drink. I didn't misbehave. I didn't do drugs. But yes, outside that, yes.
Outside that you were. Well, that's how they started. When they were in church, they were doing
Yeah. No, I was very much.
You were very, yeah.
I was also
did
my
you
mother's
do that?
crazy.
Yeah.
So she kept me out of that.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I have spoken to pastors' kids before. In fact, we've had a chat. Hey, well, what were we talking about on the show? When I got a call from, or was it on the sharing space? When I got a call from some kids who are pastors' kids, and they said, "Oh, it was a healing hour. It was a healing hour." And I remember a guy called and said, "I'm a pastor's kid, and the reason I've gone into drugs and alcohol is because at home they were trying to force an identity
No,
on me
it's
that is
not
not
that.
mine."
It's not that. It isn't that. Many people, all parents try and force an identity. The reason specifically pastors' kids and corner shop owners, if you think about it, back in the day, families that used to own butcheries and those corner shops those children suffered exactly the same as pastors' kids. And what it is the same thing that kills you when you get famous. It is undeserved praise. It's undeserved praise. Oh, mntana kamfundisi, mina nasi stock sweet. Ah, mntana kamfundisi, how ozohlala la papa. Mntana kamfundisi lo akaganganga, bonke abanye bagangile. Mntana kamfundisi muhle kanjani, and all of these things where they praise you simply for being the child of a minister. That is the most that's a drug. There's no other way around it. And I say this about fame as well. It's a drug. It'll kill you. It's a drug because it's an undeserved high. And once you lack it, you start to look for it elsewhere. So you look for it in alcohol. You look for it because at some point you outgrow it.
Yeah. How did you then deal with fame? Because, I mean, at what point did you realize, oh my God, I'm famous? Was it when you got the Isidingo, that character on Isidingo?
When I got Isidingo, I'd been acting for about 10 years. People didn't know this. And I was working consistently for about 10 years. Isidingo, the PR lady there, I'm going to say Des, not Des. Oh, gosh, I've forgotten her name. She was brilliant. And we were having our first cast meeting. We haven't shot a frame. We haven't done a thing. Steps up to me and goes, we're going to make you huge. You're going to be hugely famous. And I went, ha, whatever.
And she knew the character you were going to play, all right.
Now the character, she knew the character I was going to play. The character was written as a short little 3-week storyline.
Oh,
that's it.
Really?
It was a 3-week storyline. I would come in as this young upstart black guy, fix a thing or two, fall in love with the fall in love was, yes, part of the story. Fall in love, we kiss, okay, daddy kicks me out, the end. And the character became so incredibly popular that before the 3 weeks was over, he became a permanent fixture of his sting.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So when that fame then hit you, what did it mean? What changed in your life?
Everything changed. Listen, it hits you like a euphoria, fame. It's like, again, I've said this somewhere before. It's like being at a party where you are on. Do you know what I mean? Where every joke you land is the one. The clothes you are wearing are the best ones in the room. All the people that you find attractive are finding you more attractive.
Everybody wants a piece of you.
Everyone and it happens every single day. Every day. Non-stop. Not for a day, not for a week, not for a month, for years and years, and just being on again and again. I walk into a room and I know all the girls are wanting to grab a thing of me. Walk into a guy, into another room, and all the guys are like, it's like being like that. Now, I had my mother's voice in me. My mother is genuinely crazy. She's scary. My mother, even as umntana kamfundisi, because my mother synthesized this, actually. It's not, she synthesized that the reason why abantwana babefundisi go crazy is because they get praised too much, undeservedly. And so she would shout at me. Like I would get in trouble if Ukoko gave me a sweet that I didn't deserve. We tap. Why did you get it? What's going on? Why? You are naughty, you get a smack. And you're going, oh, okay. So it became ingrained in me that if I didn't work for it, it's not mine.
Yeah.
I simply cannot accept things that are not mine. And so for a year, I rode this wave of, wow, fame for about a year and a half. And then after that, I just went to the producers and went, I need to stop. I need to stop. I know what this is. I'm from the church and I can hear my mother's voice going, this is not yours. You don't deserve this. You don't deserve this. It's going to hurt you if you're not careful. And so I went and resigned from Istingo and went on to All You Need Is Love, which shot me even higher up. But I nearly messed myself up around that time. And then became a hermit for the most part.
Yeah, I always, and I know we don't have these conversations a lot because they're almost like they're privileged conversations. Because every time I try to even talk to my friends because I've got friends who are like philosophers in their way of thinking, and we have conversations about many things. And every time I say to them, do we ever talk about the difficulty of also growing up, for instance, in a rich household? Because we think everybody has it easy, right?
Yeah.
People who are growing up in rich households have it easy, yes, but they're also struggling with other things. There are traumas that isolation and even people who are famous, we may see it outside as, you're complaining about this. Come on, you are famous. That's privilege. But we don't talk about the trauma and also the impact that comes with that. Because when you're untouchable, and then you think, and there's a saying that says, when you live by people's praise, you're going to die by their criticism.
Precisely.
The minute it gets in there,
you took the words out of my mouth.
And the minute they come and criticize you once, you're a dead man.
You're over.
Yeah.
You're over. And because you let them in, you see.
You did.
You let them in. You said, I will welcome your opinion. Where now you thought you were saying, I'll welcome your praise. No, what you were welcoming is their opinion.
Which could change any day.
And it can flip on a dime.
Yeah.
So,
How do you deal with criticism? Because, you are a public figure. You are famous. Whether you like it or not, people will look at everything you say. That's why on Twitter, anything you say, it could be said by a normal Clement there in the street, wherever.
I like that, a normal Clement.
when you say it, it becomes did you hear what Hlomla said?
Yeah. It's par for the course. And you know how people say there's a responsibility with being in the public eye?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's literally that. That's part of that responsibility because you are in the public eye. You are not an inconspicuous, anonymous person. Anonymity is like a warm blanket. It really is an amazing thing. But you can only know how warm that blanket is when you've been out in the cold of fame.
I never thought people are probably thinking, what, you're describing fame as cold?
Yeah, no.
Fame is I love that.
Brutally cold.
Anonymity is a warm blanket.
But you can only know it
when you've been to the cold. Oprah would say, that's tweetable, everybody. Go tweet.
Hanging out with Clement
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
It's 24 minutes before 11 o'clock. Award-winning actor Hlomla Dandala is in studio with us. It's interesting seeing some tweets from some of you who, still say you still remember him from All You Need Is Love, even though you've seen him on many other productions on television. That's when you still had...
I had dreadlocks.
Yeah, when did you cut those?
About a week before my firstborn was born.
What was the reason for that?
I didn't want it grabbing at my head. And also it was...
it wasn't because there was a role that
No. It was just...
but that time dreadlocks were the thing, hey? Every girl I knew wanted to date a guy with dreadlocks. Dreadlocks and amakwekwe.
Oh, yeah. You needed to have both.
You needed a makwekwe and
Calcium
dreadlocks.
deficiency.
You're the hottest thing. You're the hottest thing in town. Okay, I'm going to ask you to put on your headphones, please. I'm going to take some calls now on 011-883-0702. Let's start with the WhatsApp on 072-702-1702.
Hello, Clement and the team. Hello to your guest, Uputi Hlomla Dandala, the multi-talented.
Yes,
What
sir.
a great guy you have there in studio. I remember him from the days of All You Need Is Love. Wow. He's truly multi-talented. May he continue what he's doing. May the Lord bless him with more success and many more years to come. Keep giving us great content, Hlomla. We love you.
so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you for that. Palisa, you are calling us from Waterfall. Good morning.
Hello, Lala.
Hello.
Oh, is it Derek? Oh, is it Makubu? How are you, Hlomla?
I'm well. How are you, Mama?
I'm fantastic. I'm Balesa. I'm an actor. Sorry for ignoring you, Clement. How are you? I hope
That's okay.
you're
I'm
well.
Bonnie. I'm Bonnie. That is fine.
No, my goodness, Clement, you've got such an amazing person in studio. And I
thank you
just
so
wanted to
much.
find out, as an actor,
Yes, Mom.
how did he prepare for his role on Justice Served? Because it was very dark. And for me, though he's played a villain before, it felt like a complete departure from everything that he has done before. And the second question is, how does he know when it's time to leave? How did you know it was done with Derek? It was done with Lala. It was done. As an actor, how do you know when it's time to leave? And lastly, and this one is
I
funny,
need to write these
I once listened to an interview
Yes.
where you mentioned the number of times you failed at getting your driver's license. Please share that as well. Thank
Driver's
you
license.
so much.
All right. Palisa, thank you for that. Palisa in Waterfall. All right. So how do you know it's time to leave a role and share that driver's license story, please?
Oh gosh, yeah. You go by feel. It's so with me anyway. I have a fairly clear idea of where I want to be, both as an actor, how I want to be perceived as an actor, and an individual, and the things I'd like to achieve with a role. Do you know what I mean? Where I'd like to stretch and so on. And then once you've done that, and I used to do this more when I was younger. Now I'm just grateful for the work. But back in the day, it would be, okay, I've achieved these things. I don't want to be known, especially around Derek Nyathi time. I was clear that I needed to be known as Hlomla and not as Derek. Because what tends to happen is if you stay in a role for long enough, you as an individual start to fade away and you become the character and people interact with the character. On the one hand, that's fantastic, but on the other, that's how you get into typecasting. People then can't see you as anything else.
Don't see your range now.
People don't see your range.
Yeah.
People don't, and so you're always walking that tightrope of get the role and get it really, really well, but also leave enough room so that you can become something else. And as you get older, that room becomes less and less and less and less. It's just one of those things. And so it's a marvel, for instance, when you find a De Niro who's spent his entire life playing mafia, bad guys, and suddenly branches off into comedy. And you go, wow, okay, he found a little bit of room in his career in what had happened. But the general trend is that the better you do in any one line of character, the thinner it gets.
Okay.
And so you're constantly watching that, and if the room gets too small, jump.
Okay, cool. Before you tell that driver's license story,
I can't remember the driver's license. I just know that I failed a lot.
Okay, cool. So, is it difficult to get out of character? Like, so when you are at work, you've spent 13 hours as Uzweli
Yes.
or Derek or even for years you're playing that character, and then you get home and you start, your personality somehow changes to
it
that.
blurs.
Does that happen?
Yeah. Every time it blurs. It definitely blurs. It blurs. And especially in South Africa, because now we don't do acting the way, say, the UK or Europe or America does. In Europe, if the scene says, or if the script says, the lines are, do the right things always, that's exactly what you say.
Oh, you can improvise.
No, there's very little room for improvisation because they spend so much time on the script, you see. So there, you're talking about 3 years just doing development on the script, and they really, really get it to a fine-tooth
So by the time they put that line, bets know they know what they're doing.
They know exactly what it is
There's a
they're
lot of
saying.
work that went into
and so
that.
now, when you're going to look at the script overnight, come back here and think you can do a better line than all these 20 writers who... In South Africa, we don't work like that. In South Africa, the line is do the right things always. The actor will walk in and go, sure, yeah, yazin. This thing that you are doing is not the right thing, man. You must do the right thing always. Do the right thing always. And that's how we do here, which kind of answers the first question she was asking about Justice Served. Justice Served was one of those few scripts that you get. It's a gem in terms of scripts where I read it and went, I can't add a single word onto this. It would be disrespectful. That's how well it was written, which means you change the way you prepare. Because now if I'm preparing it literally word for word, it means I need to sit on that script. I can't just be learning it the night before. So the usual pattern is you read all your scripts over the weekend and really get an idea of what's going on in the story. And then the night before, you're going to sit and then try and get it into your head so that 10, 15 minutes, you've seen this on the river, 10, 15 minutes before, everyone sits and we just do word run, word run, word run, word run. Okay, we got it, Bafethu. Let's go. You can't do it like that. With a script that is been very, very thoroughly researched and written and then rewritten and then rewritten, where you, as an actor, you're reading it and going, if I change anything, then it changes the way you prepare even. And so in those scenarios, I used to do things like the rule of 8. The rule of 8 is I need to get the lines perfectly 8 times in a row. And if I mess up anywhere along this 8, I go back to 1 and get it 8 times in a row. You mess up and...
So, yeah, let me ask this before I go to some more calls and WhatsApps.
Sure.
How do you... Because I'm so fascinated by the chemistry I see on air, because I mean, your chemistry with Lindiwe was exceptional. I mean, that
Cindy is an exceptional actor. Like, I'd always seen her doing Mubanga, and I was like, oh, no, she's good. That's fine. And then you do a scene with her, and you're just like, half the time you're going, yeepers, Mom, you aced that. Because I read that line. I didn't read it the way you just read it. And the way you just read, oh, Gonjanam, I need to deliver a line. You do that. She is...
Do you guys meet like for dinner or... Because when we see you on the screens, we see people who are in love. And you wonder...
No, we met once, but as the entire cast.
Yeah.
So because the chemistry needed to be with the whole family.
Yes.
Especially the young ones, because it was their first time, or Bolunga and such. So we all went out for a lunch once, and we sat as a family as lunch and just spoke nonsense, and that's it. Outside that, I'll see you at work.
No, you guys, I mean, you, and for me is, I have to believe it. And I believe that was a family that loved each other, that was complex, and that was a couple that really just loved each other. Mangobo says, hi, Clement. Oh, you are sitting with my crush there. I must have been 16 in 1996. I used to have his pictures with his 6-pack. You had a 6-pack?
Hey, I had a 6-pack. Until about a month ago, I had a 6-pack.
I used to have his pictures with his 6-pack on my wall, and my mom would always shout at me, it must have been the dreadlocks and Ikwe, because Brian Baloyi was also my crush. Okay.
Yes. I saw Brian now recently, not too long ago.
You know how many people had your pictures in their rooms? There are a lot of women that did.
I've never thought about it. And I've never, ever thought about it. And it's better that I don't. It's better that I don't know.
Here's some more WhatsApp voice notes.
I used to like Mr. Hlomla, even in acting. I even like him even as you speak to him, Clement. He's real. He's himself. And you really need to, in life, you need to be like that. There are things that you cannot really accept. You know that those things are going to drive you to a place where you know that's going to hurt you. And I like him about that. I hope people are listening.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He's real. He's himself. I like that about him a lot.
Sir,
He's original.
yeah. No, thank you.
And I like him a lot. I like him about that also.
Yeah.
We really need to be original about ourselves.
Yeah, no.
And myself, when I get a lot of praise, I just rose my eyes and that's it. And people think that I don't appreciate people praising me, but I do. I just don't let it get into my head. So thanks for hosting him, Clement.
Hlomla. Aye, that guy's a legend, Clement. That guy's a legend. Away from the cameras and the limelight, just as a human being, man. Dude is fantastic. What a gentleman. What a gentleman. Always willing and open to lend a hand. Bro, that man, he showed me how to throw a proper kick, boy. Yeah, he showed me a few things away from the camera, and now I can kick properly. Wala.
Morning, Clement. Yeah. I remember him from Go Isidingo, Nyati. He was dating this white girl, Philippa. She had this accent, I think, and then also there was Maggie. She's a casting agent or director, Karen van der Laag. The time she used to call him Bra Derek, and then Hlomla had those those were the interesting times.
That's fascinating. All right, 12 minutes now before 11 o'clock. More of your WhatsApps after this.
Hanging out with Clement
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
9 minutes before 11 o'clock. I am going to play another song before we go to some more calls and WhatsApps. Because normally I would play about 3 songs or 4. But when I'm enjoying the conversation, we end up forgetting that we've got songs to play. All right, the Muffins.
Yeah. Muffins.
Do you like them?
Oliver Mtugut's.
Yeah. Okay, let's listen to that one.
Good morning, Clement. Please ask Hlomla if is there any role that he actually wanted so bad and went to audition for and never got it. And how was it like? Or is it a question of him whenever there is a role that is out there, it is a given that he's gonna ace it, kind of. Second question, is it possible if we can see Hlomla putting a gay character in one of his next endeavors? Or he will always keep it formal?
That's a good question.
Corporate guy, family person, playing it safe. Zingisa, thank you.
Thank you, Zingisa. Yeah.
To answer the first question, because the second one is longer and more complicated. There's a bunch of roles that I just died for. You really put a lot of work into those roles, and then you walk out of the audition going, I aced it. I got it. The things I wanted to achieve with it. And then you hear nothing. After a while, you start to learn, Uguti, the gift is the audition. The gift is somebody went and wrote something and allowed you to play for half an hour while you were doing your audition. Be grateful for that, walk away. Anything more than that doesn't belong to you. And if they offer you the role, then, okay, more responsibility. But the actual gift, The actual gift is the ability to just get a role, sink your teeth into, and play for half an hour.
Yeah. Okay.
You know.
Would you play a gay character?
I've played gay characters. I wouldn't anymore. And I wouldn't because, there's no short answer here. Very early in my career, I needed to choose. Am I a character actor? Which means I'm a chameleon. I change with every, or am I a leading man? And if you're a leading man, what happens is we don't really care about what the name of the character is. We know, Guti, we're going to watch a Tom Cruise.
That's it.
He's a Tom Cruise, he's this. And so if you're a leading man, people bring an expectation every single time. If I'm going to watch a Schwarzenegger, especially when he was, I know, Guti, I'm going to watch a Skopskit and Donna. Now, if he comes out and he's doing a romantic movie where he's running through the daffodils and you're going, no, this is not what I paid for. I don't know what this is. And I'm sure he's very good at it. It's just not what I paid for. And so as a leading man, you create those expectations and you have to deliver on that because it's essentially a promise you make.
Yeah.
You see me going to gym. You see it on Instagram. You see me wearing some kind of way. All of those things are building up so that I am believable as Superman. But now if I am also in another movie where I'm being beaten up by guys who shouldn't be, then I'm not Superman anymore. Then I've moved against that expectation. So playing a leading man is a much longer curve, which takes a lot longer to take care of.
You get to that state at some point. Let me read a few messages here quickly.
Sure.
Morning, Majita. Great gems that Hlomla is dropping ever so casually. The only other thespian exuding the kind of confidence he speaks with has been Warren Masamula. And the point he just raised about guarding against staying too long in a role to the extent of being typecasted is too real for South African actors. In a country where employment is virtually non-existent, we can see how it's a struggle to avoid holding on to the only opportunity that gives them bread. And our television is filled with such artists. Big ups to Hlomla for being ordinarily ordinary. That's Job, soprano in Orlando East. Another one says, good morning, Clement and Caesar. I know he hates being called by the character he plays. Great actor you are, Mr. Dandala.
Thank you,
Had
sir.
the privilege of seeing you walking down Sylvia Pass a couple of weeks back. I wanted to hoot at you, but held my cool.
I should have hooted. I walk a lot, so yeah, you should have hooted.
Last one says, morning, Clem. Hlomla, what a great man. Met him a few times at eateries, always calm, and twice my kids and partner asked for pics. He agreed. Once he politely said he was in a meeting. Once done, he would take pics if he's still around. What a lovely man.
Thank you, sir.
We love him so much. Those are some of the messages coming through. Thanks, my man, for coming through.
Thank you very much.
I really enjoyed this conversation.
No, I appreciate. We appreciate this, you know, just the acknowledgement. And I speak now for not just myself, the guys who are in the game. You know, we don't take these things for granted. I know you're chasing time. So from all of thespians, thank you. And thank you to the audience. Guys, you keep us alive by watching us every day. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming through, man.